Hi,
Hello.
Maisie. I'm Sena with
Hi.
Their Magazine. Thank you for taking your time out to chat with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we wanted to start off with how would you describe your sound?
I guess I would describe it as a major, as in major chords, major and uh bright and bold, and sentimental.
Great. So, what advice would you have for girls going through outdoor pool? Like the
Wow.
experience.
The experience outdoor pool. I mean, it's a niche experience. I'm not sure there's
Yeah.
that many girls in the world going through outdoor pool. And I'm gonna be honest, I personally never went, I never went through outdoor pool. I never kissed my crush in outdoor pool when I was 15. Not for lack of trying, but I would say that if you too have been heartbroken by your teenage crush, then it's really important to remember that it is not in fact the worst day of your life, as I say in the song. And that, I think these things feel huge in the moment, but you'll look back and it'll feel like the tiniest thing in the world. So just keep thinking about that day when you'll look back and think it's so funny.
Yeah, like you can see how girls can relate to it and how they'd really dwell on those type of moments. And so, like, once we get into your album, I just want to say, like, I'm aware that It's Your Bed, Babe, It's Your Funeral came out roughly 2 years ago. But what song from You Signed Up for This would you marry together?
Oh, that's a good question. So many interesting parallels. Somebody said that April Showers is like Villain, sort of like a younger, sillier, sweeter version of Villain, which I actually totally agree with. It's they've both sort of got these really like crazy main character moment of like you're sort of so sabotaging your own love life in the name of this person who you love who doesn't love you back anymore. But then there's also loads of Personal Best and Brooklyn are both about my sister, which is cool because Personal Best is about when she was going to uni, so we were apart for the first time, and then Brooklyn is about us going to New York, being together again for the first time, which is sweet.
Yeah, and we just wanted to ask, like, we know that it's both about your twin sister. And so, what are some ways that you deal with her not being there next to you all the time?
I mean, we're good at keeping in touch. We're both really busy and sort of lead really busy lives, so it's easy to distract yourself. And I do miss her a lot, but we're good at sort of sending each other TikToks. That's like our thing, just constant TikToks.
Yeah, and as a twin myself, I can really understand like
Ooh.
being there and growing up for your entire life, and then suddenly, bam, like being an adult hits you, and you realize that you have to take like two different paths, but you're always just like always connected, and you share those
Mm,
moments together.
that's so sweet. Yeah, I'd like to think so.
So, along those same lines, like, do you try to connect the songs in each EP or album to one another?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. It's never intentional, but it's always really cool. And I think it does just happen out of sort of the fact that they are often centered around things in my life or, sort of moments. Life is so moments in your life intertwine so much and people and you're constantly writing about the same person you wrote about a year ago, but the circumstances change and the way you view them is different. But the songs, I always think to myself, like if people only knew the way that some songs are about the same things with the same people and they are so very different.
Yes, and so like your songs are based around like your experiences, but do you really try to stick to a concept throughout your music?
Um, no, I would say I sort of let the song lead itself. So whatever feels right in that song is sort of what I commit to. Um, but I know I like to let it lead me.
And so what's your favorite part about songwriting?
I like the sort of communal aspect of it. Well, I like sort of creating a world that didn't exist like half an hour before, and then suddenly you've created it. And I love that moment when it all ties together, and you're like, wow, like that's such a cool way of saying that thing. Like it's never been said like that before. Hopefully.
Yeah. And so what else do you take inspiration from?
Oh, so many things. Other people's music. Um, I'm always really inspired by like, what else I hear, especially like what is kind of being currently released. Also books and films and things people say in those things and my friends and my friends' lives and what my friends say to me. I'm like a magpie. I'm constantly like taking things.
And so how do you approach songwriting, lyrics, and the overall message of your songs differently as a young girl than you do now?
kind of approached it the same. I think I definitely wrote a lot more from outside my own perspective, a lot more when I was younger, just because you're going through less, you have less to talk about, which is cool. And I actually am really glad I did it. I think it was actually a super great backbone and sort of like foundation for me to write now, because like all those years of writing outside your own perspective, you get good at being creative and imaginative and thinking of other ways to say things. So yeah.
So if you were to look back on yourself as like a 14, 15-year-old busking, like what would you tell yourself, like your younger self?
Oh my goodness. To be, oh my goodness, I don't even know so many things. Um, I guess to like sound so cheesy, to like believe in herself and what she's doing and trust. I guess don't be afraid to trust the right people. But we wary of getting too much sort of, what's the word, validation from others, like look inwards a little bit more maybe. But I mean, I don't know, there's a million things I would say to my younger self.
And like what specific experiences do you feel have shaped your music?
um Interesting. Probably my life as a musician. So I think the travel that I've been lucky enough to do, and um living in London, I think has really shaped that. um Living in my girls' house, I live with other girls, and I think that's really actually shaped the music that I make.
And we know that you have been working with Ed after signing to his Gingerbread Records, but what other artist would you consider to be like your dream collaboration?
I mean, I love Casey Musgrave. She's like one of my favorite artists, one of my biggest inspirations. So I'd love to get to write with her. I just think she's incredible.
And what are you most excited about for your North American tour?
Everything. I'm so excited for every single thing. Honestly, I am counting down the days. I cannot wait. Especially maybe to play some of the album tracks, because like Villain, what else have I not played ever? Villain, Tough Act, The Boy, like all these songs that I've never got to play live that I like love so much, and I like wrote thinking about playing them live. Loving My Down, Out of Pool. I mean, so many of them. But yeah.
Yeah, and we've heard that you really wanted to sing Brooklyn while you're on tour in Brooklyn.
I did, and unfortunately, we've now changed the venue, so we're no longer in Brooklyn, which is like cool. It's cool. We're playing Webster Hall, which is amazing. I'm so excited to play Webster Hall, but it's kind of like a tiny tear because we could have played Brooklyn, but we're
Yeah.
still playing Brooklyn in New York, which is no less cool.
And so Glitter has a self-love campaign that we started in 2015. So what does self-love mean to you?
I think it means self-confidence and self-belief. And I guess like a quiet steeliness, is that a word? A quiet steeliness to yourself, and to knowing that you're capable of whatever you want to do.
And we were really wondering, like, does your music taste fluctuate often? Like, what songs are you really into right now?
It does. I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff. Right now, I'm really into the new Noah Gunderson record, Pillar of Salt, I think it's called. And the Casey Musgrave album, obviously, I super love. And I'm really into Gwen Stefani right now, so I listen to Holla Back Girl a lot.
And so, like, as you really start to embark on your North American tour, what's one place that you really want to just travel and relax and have fun in?
I mean, in North America, I'd love, where have I not been that I'm going? Oh, I've never been to Vancouver, and I've got friends from there. And I'm really excited to go because I've never been.
Yes, I'm actually, my dad is from Vancouver, so we go there every year.
Cool.
Yeah, if you like really cold weather, then it's such a nice place to go.
I'm excited.
And so what's one beauty product that you can't live without?
What a question. Probably blusher. Sounds strange to say. My sister always says I wear way too much of it, but I think that I have a naturally very pale complexion, and I'm not really one for bronzer or so I guess blush is sort of my way of brightening up my face and making me not look like a ghost.
Are you very interested in like fashion or like makeup?
In some ways, I really enjoy like all the sort of I've been to some fashion shows and I've gotten to sort of do little bits of modeling, and I've actually always really enjoyed it and found it really interesting and actually really like complicated a lot of the time. And makeup I love, like sort of I've got my signature eyeliner, which I actually don't have on today, but I normally do. But I'm also sort of I live my life in a very like, what's the minimum amount of time I can take to get ready so I can sleep for the longest.
And so, like, in your daily life, we're really wondering, like, we know you love to read, and one of your songs is called John Hughes Movie. So, what are your favorite, like, books and movies to, like, just sit down and enjoy?
Well, my favorite John Hughes movie is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is just it's just super nostalgic to me and really poignant and kind of sad and beautiful. And then my favorite book, I love The Great Gatsby, and I love Secret History by Donna Tartt. So I'm gonna say those two.
Have you ever thought about maybe writing a song about those books or about, like, the experiences within those novels?
I actually kind of have. Like weirdly, I've kind of done that. I have like a little verse that I wrote about some books that I was listening to earlier. I think it was kind of had some merit to it. But yeah, I definitely would.
And we know that you're always like constantly trying to take experiences from your life to write songs about, but how do you stay healthy and active and kind of go about your daily life?
Excuse me. I mean, I'm not great at it. I'm trying to be better. I mean, I live in London and we kind of walk a lot of places. So I try and walk everywhere as much as possible and sort of go to the park and sort of just get some air and some space when I can.
And last, I kind of really want to talk about like how do you feel like collaborating with others has changed how you write songs and how you approach music, and if you can really like take the ideas of others and kind of like change your perspective on things.
I think it always just like really widens your own perspective and your own creative ability because you're sort of suddenly taking in a whole other person's. So I like to think it's also made me sort of probably um more communicative with what I want to do, and in a way probably it's made me stronger in my own writing and my own identity in that way because you have to know what you want very clearly if you're working with others.
And so I wanted to say thank you, Maisie, so much for your time. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you again.
You too. Thank you so much. Is it Sena or Senna?
Sena.
Sena. So nice to meet you, and thank you so much
Yes.
for the questions.
Thank you.